It's Monday, the 28th of May, 2018, and this is your EV News Daily. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening around the world. A very warm welcome from London in the UK. And here is today's news about electric cars and the future of transport. It's Martin Lee here, and I go through every EV article online so you don't have to. Quite a busy weekend, but I've tried to filter the stories down to the ones that I think you'll be most interested in. Coming up on the show today, we talk about some BMWs being delivered in roadster form for the very first time, and more news on Europe's very own Gigafactory. But first of all, some congratulations are in order. These are Tesla owners Eric Strait and Sean Mitchell, and they set out to achieve a world record of some Tesla hypermiling, and they've only gone and done it. So in a brand new Model 3, what's the first thing you would like to do? Well, it might not be spend over 30 hours travelling very, very slowly to try and hypermile your way into the Guinness World Records. I'm not even sure this is a world record, because surely there has to be someone from, Guinness World Records along with you. And the more people that are in the car, well, that's bad for hypermiling. So maybe Guinness then had to follow you. Anyway, I'm not sure they were involved in this, but it would be fantastic if it was officially recognised as a world record. Oh, we all love a bit of hypermiling. We all love maybe just timing things right as you come up to a set of lights, or maybe you get to the top of a hill just as you take your foot off the gas. The accelerator pedal, if you're driving an EV, and then you just cruise for as far as you can. Love some hypermiling. But you've got to be pretty hardcore to do this for 606 miles on a single charge in a Model 3. Now, my wife would be awful at this. We get 10 minutes into a road trip and she's bored and wants me to pull over for snacks. However, these two guys were focused and they knew their goal. 600 miles, which is 965 kilometres. That was the bare minimum. And they beat that by 6 miles. So they took their Model 3 and drove it about 25 miles an hour. That's about 40 Ks for 32 hours straight. Did 110 watt hours per mile, and they pulled 66 kilowatt hours from the battery in their Model 3 to achieve this brand new hypermiling world, maybe official, unofficial world record. Congratulations to you guys. This is why we love things like YouTube, because you can live stream these kind of things online. Some interesting numbers behind this story, though, as I was tweeting about yesterday. So, they got, 606 miles on the hypermile test. That is versus an EPA range of 310 miles. And of course, we wouldn't expect anybody to be hypermiling at 25 miles an hour all day. But there's a difference. You get double the EPA range if you are willing to go very slowly. Also interesting, they got 66 kilowatt hours from the Model 3 battery. Now, the official kind of publicly, they don't really go big on this. They like to go on the 310 miles, don't they? But Elon has said in the past, Tesla has said in the past, it's a 75 kilowatt hour battery. And I remember reading some analysis on the Electrek website, a long time ago now, last year it would have been, which claimed it was a 74 kilowatt hour battery, but had loads of detail on it. And yet in the last few days, the YouTube channel EVTV have managed to get hold of a Model 3 wreck, unfortunately, that the battery was wet when they took it out of the car. However, the guys that took it apart and looked at the capacity of the Model 3 battery said it looks more like an 80.5 kilowatt hour battery, at least the one which they got at auction from the Model 3 wreck, and the battery they took out was saying it's looking like an 80.5 kilowatt hour battery. So there's a discrepancy there for these hypermilers getting 66 kilowatt hours out of their battery. There's obviously a bit of headroom and a bit of room at the bottom where they might not have used the very last few little bits of energy in there, but also it looks like the car is definitely keeping some back in reserve as well, a buffer if you like. I love these kind of challenges. They're not the most practical things to do, but it really is what the internet was designed for in many ways, and huge congratulations to you guys. Well, staying with Tesla actually, and earlier last week, it was a week ago today, Consumer Reports stopped short of recommending the Model 3 because of an issue with the car braking performance, and more specifically the emergency stopping distance, and even more specifically than that, I think it was the repeated use of hard braking events meant that the stopping distance was greater than it should have been. However, Elon Musk responded really positively to this Consumer Reports criticism to say we will work on it. If it really is lots and lots of repeated emergency braking, which you wouldn't do in real life. You would emergency brake once and hope that is enough. Every 6 months someone pulls out on you or something. However, this kind of review process put the car through its paces. Elon Musk saying last week it was an algorithm in the ABS which could be tweaked, and that rollout started over the weekend just gone. So if you have a Model 3, there's new software coming your way, and it means that they can shave 20 feet off for repeated heavy braking events. And like I say, the two things that you would have to do that for, if you are rinsing a car on some sort of review, or if you're taking it on the track. Now, Elon has said in the past that he wants the performance model of the Tesla Model 3 to be right up there with things like the BMW M3 and those really fast kind of AMG Mercedes and things like that. So I'm not surprised if it was highlighting a bit of braking flaw in terms of when the Model 3 hits the track in performance model. He just wants that nailed. He wants that fixed. So it's not so much useful for everyday events because you shouldn't be slamming the brakes every single day. However, a new software coming your way which shortens by 20 feet repeated heavy braking events. And Consumer Reports have said in the past that if Tesla fix it, then they will retest the Model 3. So very, very busy girls and boys at Tesla. I mean, here we're having a bank holiday weekend. Is it Memorial Day weekend in the US? I haven't researched that, but I just there's something in my bones tells me that more than one place is having a nice long weekend, maybe, or a holiday weekend. Certainly here in the UK, a 3-day weekend with a bank holiday Monday, and so no holidays for those working at Tesla. Unfortunately, very busy writing new software and getting it out. Now, the CEO of Northvolt and the COO being Peter Carlson, and the CEO rather, and the COO of Northvolt being Paolo Cerruti, both worked with Tesla's Gigafactory 1 in Nevada, and now they want to do the same thing with a Gigafactory in Europe, and they've been getting the support of many different partners, one of those now being the German engineering company Siemens, are getting on board with some new investment and partnership. Now, Northvolt, who want to build their own gigafactory in Europe, recently got a $68 million loan from InnovFin, which is a facility for funding innovation in energy. But really, 68 million, I can't believe I'm going to say this sentence, is pretty small change, but it gets them going, I would say. Gets them off the mark. Jan Morisk, the CEO of Siemens Digital, said, "We're happy to support Northvolt in building the battery factory of the future. With our digital enterprise portfolio, we contribute to a competitive battery cell production in Europe." End quote. Yeah, and completely the battery cells at the moment, if it's not Tesla working with Panasonic, then it's in Korea or China. Really nothing happening in Europe in terms of battery cell production. The first phase of the European Gigafactory for Northvolt will have a production capacity of just 125 megawatt hours per year. They're starting small, but they want to end up at 32 gigawatt hours of capacity. Well, staying in Europe and heading to Spain, and SEAT is launching a car-sharing pilot project with a fleet of the electric... Is it Me or My? It's M-I-I. Well, I think it must be Me. This is in Spain, in Barcelona, and they're using the SEAT e-Me, which is a version of the Volkswagen e-Up. It's a tiny battery. It's just a tiddler, 18.7 kilowatt hours, but then again, the car is basically a roller skate. 160 Ks on that, and an entire fleet of these e-Me's are being rolled out. For use at a single click, you can use your mobile app to reserve a car from any of those in the fleet. You make your reservation, the app sends you a digital key, so you can get into the car with a single click, no physical keys on this, and then all of your dashing around Barcelona will be done up to 160 kilometres on electric power alone. Hailing is going to be a big thing, and ride sharing is going to be a big thing with electric cars, but also this kind of fleet of electric cars is being looked at by lots of big companies, including VW with their SEAT division. And finally, on the podcast today, congratulations to the first 200 owners of the BMW i8 in Roadster form. Now being delivered, they are collector's items, as you can imagine, and they are all gorgeous cars. 13,000 i8s have been made since 2014 when we first saw them, and now the Roadster version of it is hitting the roads. 4.6 seconds 0 to 60, and top speed limited to 155 miles an hour. It's an even smaller battery in this, but really it's not about going too far on electric miles alone. 11.6 kilowatt hours in the Tesla Roadster. I wish that was on the market already. In the BMW Roadster version of the i8. So you are powered mostly by your combustion engine, but that kick, that torque of electric power is there. These first edition i8 cars are going to club members at a ceremony in Munich. Very nice if you can afford the sticker price on one of those. Well, thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Do you want to share it? That would be great if you can, and we can spread the news about electric cars together, maybe on your socials or something like that. All the previous episodes of the podcast are online right now. They're on iTunes and Google Play and Spotify and YouTube and TuneIn and Stitcher and the blog and SoundCloud and many more. If you want to subscribe on any of your favourite platforms, well, that'd be good because you get them first and free and automatically. And if you want to come and say hi on the socials, on Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter, just search EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day if you are working or enjoying a day off. Wherever you are in the world, have a great Monday, and I'll catch you tomorrow.